This is the November 18th Board of County Commissioners meeting. Anybody who wants to sit, we're going to immediately stand, but that's okay. May I have the roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Baxter.
Here.
Commissioner Flores. Mayor Marino.
Here.
Commissioner Powell.
Here.
Commissioner Sachs.
Here.
Commissioner Wise.
Here.
And Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you all could please stand. My mom is watching. Yes, she always is. No, I just wrote a prayer this morning, so I wanted to share it. Let us all bow our heads and pray. Thank you, Lord, for giving this board the opportunity to lead with dignity and grace, with words of wisdom, words of comfort, words of knowledge, words of leadership, and words of compassion. In a world full of uncertainty, give us the ability to move forward with unity. We have seen many changes this past year. Let those changes move us towards calmness, reason, and prosperity. And as my mom always reminds me, let's leave the world a better place than we found it. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. So this is the part in the show where it says special recognitions, and I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege to say a couple of words about my year as mayor. So just because I want to remember everything, I wrote it all down. So serving as mayor has been an honor, not because of the title, but because of the people, the purpose, and the privilege of helping moving this county forward together. When I stepped into this role a year ago, I had no idea how demanding it was going to be. So I want to thank those that came before me because this is a heavy lift as mayor. What I didn't appreciate yet was how deeply meaningful it would be. All the meetings, the countless calls, the conversations, each one a reminder that leadership isn't defined by a single moment. It's defined by being present in all moments. And at every turn, our staff was there, and is there, and will be there. I want to say thank you to our exceptional staff. Your professionalism, expertise, and commitment are the heartbeat of Palm Beach County. Your dedication shapes lives, lifts communities, and drives the progress we are all proud of. I also want to recognize how special it is to serve alongside my 6 colleagues on this commission. Each one of you brings a unique lens, a strong sense of duty, and a shared commitment to delivering for the people that we represent. I know without a doubt that every commissioner here understands the significance and responsibility of public service. It's a privilege to serve with you, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. What made this year powerful wasn't just the pace. It was the partnerships that I saw across departments, across municipalities, strengthened by our volunteers, our nonprofits, our residents, and our businesses, and our board. The power of we, and I think Joelle heard me say that last week, the power of we drives every initiative, every decision, and every achievement in Palm Beach County. Every act of collaboration, every shared solution, every conversation that puts people first leaves a legacy far greater than any of us can achieve alone. We can't do this as an island. Palm Beach County is strong, and it's only getting stronger. We are leading with intention, planning with vision, and building a future that's going to lift every resident, business, and community. Again, it's been an honor to serve as mayor, but more so, it's an honor to serve as one of the 7 county commissioners. And it will be an honor to stand with the people and the team who make Palm Beach County extraordinary. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Your impact on our county
is undeniable. You've led with steadiness and genuine love for our community. And as administrator, working with you with 3 months today, from the very beginning, your expertise guiding me as a new administrator, from looking at organizational charts to understanding some nuances that aren't generally discussed first and foremost in the public, but yet very important. I will always remember our time together as first mayor, but it's not ending for the next 3 years as we still continue to work together in an extremely collaborative way. We do have a special video for you, and if staff can key that up, I would appreciate it. And the lights, if we can.
I gotta make sure you ready? The Sports Commission hosted and supported 213 events that generated nearly 340,000 room nights, over $83 million in hotel and lodging revenue. And the Sports Commission supported events generated over $330 million in economic impact in 2024. Partnerships. We can't do this without partnerships. The county has over 550 interlocal agreements with the municipalities, with other taxing districts, with other counties. We were here. We're invested in our county. We're invested in our future. If we don't show up, why should they care? This project is a fabulous one-of-a-kind project, and this is the first of its kind for separated bike lanes of this nature. And this will be existing right-of-way between Lyons Road and Salisbury Way from Forest Hill Boulevard to Okeechobee, so just under 4 miles long. When we are building a LEED certified building, the building will last longer. It will be storm resistant, which means we don't have to put in $4 in the future to repair those buildings. We also need to look at stormwater, and we look at drainage and elevations. These are all things that if we make that investment now, it returns multiple millions of dollars in the future that we don't have to spend. It is a joy to welcome this new building. We're gathered here to celebrate the opening of this beautiful state-of-the-art PBSO District 1 and Marine Unit Complex. We are going to be breaking ground on the new Virginia C. Baker Vista Center Complex.
However, that is such a fabulous rendition, and it really gives you an idea of how important athletics are to our community.
Florida's future storytellers, artists, and creative leaders. That's who we're greeting today. Now, as mayor of Palm Beach County, I'm proud to say that this is a community that not only celebrates your talent, but believes in your power to shape the future.
Mayor, cannot thank you enough for your remarks about staff, and we have a gift for you.
Yes, I think everyone might have found one on their chair. All right, I have to open it now. That was the direction. Yeah, yesterday I was asked what my favorite chocolate is since I have a candy bar in my office. So there you go. Anybody want some candy?
And it's engraved on the side, Mayor.
Maria G. Marino, thank you for your years of outstanding service, dedication, and innovative leadership.
Thank you.
So much. If you all want to open your bag, go ahead and open your bags. We have 7 districts, and there's many special things that happen in those districts. I happen to just pick 2 special things that are important to me. Besides giving you all a scarf, because sometimes we're cold, and Joelle, I know you always walk around with a scarf on, so you all get a scarf. The turtle and the turtle story is from Loggerhead, and you've heard us say consistently that Loggerhead is the #1 free attraction in the United States for the 2nd year in a row. So this is just in support of Loggerhead. A key to the county. You all have opened lots of doors. Thank you for that. And lastly, a box of cards for you to, a box of cards. And these are from the Arc of the Palm Beaches. So what I try to do throughout the year is buy from the different nonprofits. It's a way to help them raise dollars. And since I've been in the nonprofit space for so long, it was what I felt I wanted to do for all of you. So please enjoy. And now, the election for mayor. How do we do this?
Shannon, the Chief Deputy Clerk, will take over from this point.
Good morning, Commissioners. County Administrator Abruzzo, county staff, and residents of Palm Beach County, it is my privilege to now preside over this portion of the meeting, the election of a new mayor. My name is Shannon Ramsey Chessman, and I am the Chief of Staff and Chief Deputy Clerk for Mike Caruso, your Clerk of the Circuit Court and Comptroller. Clerk Caruso couldn't be here today. He sends his regrets, but it is my privilege to present on his behalf. One of Clerk Caruso's official duties includes overseeing the election process. Once the new mayor is selected, he or she will preside over the remainder of this morning's meeting. On behalf of Clerk Caruso and everyone in the clerk's office, we look forward to continuing to work with and partner with your staff and you in the year ahead. At this time, I would like to open the nominations for mayor. Are there any nominations? Commissioner Sachs.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for taking over the meeting at this point. I appreciate
Welcome.
it, Ms. Matera. At this time, it is my honor and privilege to nominate Commissioner Sarah Baxter to be mayor of Palm Beach County. Again, it is my privilege and honor to nominate Commissioner Baxter.
We have a first by Commissioner Sachs, second by Commissioner Weiss. Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, the nominations are closed. Congratulations, Mayor Baxter. And I now turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you, everyone. Truly heartfelt. Thank you. It has been a long journey. I'm going to save my comments for later once I gather myself, but I would at this time like to open nominations for vice mayor.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Woodward.
Any other nominations?
I'll second.
Nominations closed. All in favor for Commissioner Woodward?
Yes.
I'll say aye. Any nays? See that the motion carries 7-0. Congratulations, Vice Mayor Woodward.
And thank you to the rest of the board for this honor.
At this time, we are going to adjourn as the Board of County Commissioners and reconvene as the Solid Waste Authority Board. Do you want to break? No, we do this. Yeah. If Mr. Pelowitz and staff. Clerk, I'm going to turn it over to you.
May we take the roll call for the record? Vice Mayor Baxter,
Here.
Commissioner Flores. Here. Mayor Marino,
Here.
Commissioner Powell,
Here.
Commissioner Sachs, Commissioner Weiss,
Here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
We have a quorum, and we also have proof of publication for this meeting. Good morning, Madam Chair and governing board members. At this time, I'll ask for nomination for the Solid Waste Authority Board Chair.
I will nominate Vice Mayor Marcy Woodward.
I will second.
Mayor Moreno nominated Marcy Woodward for Chair. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed. Vice Mayor Woodward has been selected to serve as chair with a 7-0 vote. Now I'll turn the meeting over to Vice Mayor Woodward. Congratulations.
Thank you, and thank you to the rest of the board. Quite an honor. Now we will take nominations for vice chair. Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Chair Woodward. At this time, I would be very honored and pleased to nominate Commissioner Joe Flores as Vice Chair of the Solid Waste Authority.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other nominations? To see that, we will close the nominations and take a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Congratulations, Vice Chair Flores.
Chair, may I nominate Commissioner Bobby Powell as secretary?
Yes.
Second.
Any other nominations? All right, seeing none, we'll close the nominations and take the vote. All in favor for Bobby Powell as secretary?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? All right, congratulations, Secretary Powell.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, we have one card.
Oh, sorry.
So-
Is it, would you like to just say the name? You can call them forward.
Yes, it's Linda Smith.
Okay.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Linda Smith, Jupiter, Florida, Sierra Club, Loxahatchee Group. I tried to find out what you guys were doing this morning, and I kind of got stonewalled. The link didn't work, so I called the commissioner's office, and they told me it was for the election. And so this might be a little late, because that already happened, but I was going to ask you to elect a governing board leadership who would embrace the 4 Rs in their order of importance: rethink, reuse, refuse, and recycle, and educate the public and maybe even the county employees on these 4 Rs. I still pull recyclables out of trash cans within sight of recycle bins here in this building and at the Solid Waste Authority. Emphasize commercial composting and commercial recycling throughout the county and local municipalities. The public has kind of lost their faith in what goes in their bin is recycled. I get the public asking me this question often. And I suggest that someone perhaps read the Broward County new master plan. And after this, I'm going to the gym in Jupiter, where I was asked to stop pulling recyclables out of their trash. And lastly, take note of all the experienced high-level employees currently leaving and ask them why. Thank you.
Thank you. So would any member of the board like to make a comment before we adjourn? No? Seeing none, are we now taking the break? Okay, so we are adjourning as a Solid Waste Authority, and we'll reconvene with our new mayor after a brief break, correct?
Yeah, let's aim for 10 after 10.
Okay.
Thank you.
Started. If I could please ask everyone to take a seat. Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Baxter, Commissioner Flores, Commissioner Marino,
Here.
Commissioner Powell,
Here.
Commissioner Sacks, Commissioner Wise,
Here.
Vice Mayor Woodward.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Briefly, before we get started, I'm going to take a moment of privilege. My kids had to get to school and my husband had to get to work, but I do want to thank them and my father and my stepmother for coming down and supporting me today. It meant a lot. I would like to thank Jesus for helping me get here and stay sane in what can sometimes be a crazy world. I would like to also thank my fellow commissioners for granting me the profound honor of serving as your mayor for the next year. So thank you so much. 3 years ago, I was sworn in and I promised to be a change agent, and I would like to believe I've done a lot of change and helped accomplish a lot of change over the last 3 years. It is a continued effort of mine to improve the county for the betterment of our residents and the citizens and everyone that we serve. And that also includes the county staff, county employees who make this all possible. So thank you so much. I look forward to continuing those efforts, working closely with my fellow board members and our new administrator. So thank you. And with that being said, we're going to continue with today's business. Do we have any additions, deletions, or substitutions?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On page 31, item 3H6 is deleted. On page 71, 7A1 is also deleted. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt as amended?
And a second. I have a first by Commissioner Woodward, a second by Commissioner Flores, or excuse me, Commissioner Weiss, Vice Mayor Woodward, Commissioner Weiss. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, say nay. Please see that the motion carries 7-0. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Does anyone want to pull any items from consent?
If I may be recognized, thank you so much, Mayor Baxter. Sounds good. There's a couple of items that I would like to pull, only with regard to confirming certain requirements, certain conditions on those items. Not necessarily that we would not vote for them, but that I just want to make sure that the record reflects certain conditions on these various items. And for that, if I may call forward Tammy Fields from our staff, and I'll go through them rather quickly, all right?
Which items are they, Commissioner?
Okay. They are a 3E2. I can name them all. There's just a couple. 3E3, 3E5, 3EI, and 5C1. And Ms. Fields, I just need you. Okay, but I love your whole staff. Come on over. Good-looking staff here. Hi, Taruna. How are you? Hi, Dr. Green. And the reason that I'd like to pull these is to make sure that the public, that the record is clear, that these items, which are funding items, will be able to, the attorney is looking at me and I am listening.
Commissioner Sacks, before we let staff proceed, let's vote on the items that have not been pulled.
Consent, yeah.
on the consent, and then we will proceed with letting
Perfect,
them.
that'd be fine.
And you, Commissioner Powell, which item would you like to pull?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to pull item 3I4, page 40. It's a receiving file.
Is that all?
That's it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So I have 3E2, 3E3, 3E5, 3E, there was one more, Commissioner Sacks?
Three-
And then you also
5C1.
5C1.
5C1, yes.
Okay, so 5C1 is regular. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
So moved.
I have a first by Vice Mayor Woodward, a second by Commissioner Flores. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Please see that that motion carries 7-0. Now, Ms. Fields, if you would, please continue.
Well, actually, if I could, I can move this right along quickly, efficiently. I just want to make sure that, Ms. Fields, that those items that we have mentioned that are pulled are items that are funding grants. And first, let me thank you to get these applications for funding. It's impressive. Anybody that can write a grant for these funding items should be complimented. Thank you. I just want to make sure that for the record, it's clear that these funding items will be used for housing or items that will lead directly to housing. Is that correct, Ms. Fields?
They will be used for housing and housing supports of those individuals who are homeless, but yes.
Okay, housing support. Now, I want to make sure the record is clear. Housing support means anything specifically that will lead to housing. That is, it will not include counseling someone who's homeless or unsheltered about getting a job and not providing housing for that individual. So I want to be sure that these items for funding will lead directly to housing or lead specifically for housing.
Yes, all
Thank
of
you.
the grants can be
Good.
used for housing. There is a component of one of the grants that's you pulled that does have job training
Job
associated
training,
with it.
but shelter, we don't want to, we don't want to tell a man how to be a plumber.
Exactly.
And then at 5 PM, he goes out and sleeps in the curb.
Yeah,
But we
exactly.
discussed that yesterday,
Yes,
that's why.
absolutely.
So I'm pulling it up today to be sure that these will, all this money, these great grants that you provided for us, will be used for housing.
Yes.
Thank you, that's it.
And I wanted to also compliment, I know she's in the back, Wendy Tippett, when we're talking about the grant applications.
Where's
because
Wendy?
She's back here in the corner, but Wendy
Thank you,
does a
Wendy.
tremendous
I know
job
Wendy.
in the grant
She's very good when
applications.
it comes to housing. Excellent. And Dr. Green, Haruna, all of you, thank you so much. Just wanted to make sure that was on the record for those grant funding. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Was that comments for all the items you pulled?
That's it, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner. Briefly, Attorney Kaufman, would it be appropriate if we voted on all the items pulled from consent together?
Yes, just to clarify that the item on regular is not included.
Yes.
That will be voted on regular.
I threw that.
And I believe Commissioner Powell's item is separate too.
Correct. I just mean the ones. Commissioner Wood, or Vice Mayor Woodward.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure, because one of the items that Commissioner Sacks pulled is 3E3, and that has to do with the cleaning services for food. That has nothing to do with housing. Is that correct?
That does fit into the category of housing supports because it is getting food for our community.
Okay, so just making sure that we're on the record accurate. Yes. Okay, thank you.
I will entertain a motion to approve items 3E2, 3E3, 3E5. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hold on, excuse me, the clerk is correcting me. Clerk? The maker is Commissioner Flores. The second is Vice Mayor Woodward. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Please see that that motion carries 7-0. Moving on to item 3I4, Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. What I did want to point out with item 3I4, 3I4 is the disparity study, which is, of course, a receive and file. The disparity study was recently completed, and I just want to make sure we let people know what exactly is happening with the disparity study and what we found, then why it's just being received and filed. And of course, our language here indicates that disparity study was passed, but after that, the Board of County Commission on July 2nd, 2024, approved a contract with Griffin and Strong. And then prior to the completion of the disparity study, the BCC passed Emergency Ordinance 2025-14, suspending all Palm Beach County diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, including enforcement of the race and/or gender-conscious portions of Chapter 2, Article 3, Division 2, Part C of the Palm Beach County Code and Policies and Procedures Manual. So I just wanted to make sure that that was stated on the record, and if there's anything that we talked about this yesterday that was just found with regard to that disparity study as it's getting ready to be received and filed.
Certainly. First, Madam Mayor, I'd like to introduce who's at the table: Carlos Serrano, Jonathan Brown, Axel Miranda, who is now the Division Director for the Office of Small Business, and Richard Senna from the County Attorney's Office. The disparity study is here as a receive and file. We cannot, as a result of the executive orders, be able to have race and gender preferences in our ordinance. Later on the agenda, there is first reading of the Small Business Development Ordinance. There has been a consolidation, well, not a consolidation, but a good move, a realignment. Administrator Abruzzo has put the Small Business Development Office within Housing and Economic Development to create that synergy of how we can promote our small businesses. All of the businesses that were previously certified as minority or women-owned businesses are now, they're still small businesses, so they continue within the program. Our small business preferences will be extended to them. The disparity study showed that progress was made as far as women business owners and minority business owners. There was still some disparity. We can't deny that that still exists in the disparity study, but it was an improvement of where we were when we first developed the program. And we don't have the ability to have race and gender preferences until such time as there's either a change in the executive order or there's any court decisions. And at that point, we would likely need to do an update of the information that we're receiving and filing today to be able to compare the difference when there are preferences and there are not preferences. Does that address your questions?
I think so, unless there's anything that needs to be added by the team.
Would you like to make the motion, Commissioner?
Administrator Abruzzo?
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to let the board know that with the realignment, I actually have a standing meeting with Mr. Miranda. I communicate often with Jonathan Brown, and Tammy and I see each other and have meetings every day. But Mr. Miranda and I, and along with the entire team, have a pretty aggressive but positive agenda for small business and promoting small business in Palm Beach County. And Madam Mayor, with your indulgence, if Axel Miranda, if you would allow him to say a few words and give you an update on where we're headed and what we're doing, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. With your permission. My first time here.
Yep, there you go.
I'm good. Don't be nervous. Technology hasn't been my friend these days. Madam Mayor, with your permission?
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. Definitely, we want to roll out a robust program that addresses all pockets, whether they're women-owned, minority-owned, veteran-owned, doesn't make a difference to us. And this is going to go moving forward and aggressively. We're going to be looking at community collaborations where we can partner with local organizations, local nonprofits that have their pulse on the community at hand to make sure that no one is left behind. You'll be hearing some of this later today, but there's a lot of work that we can do in this realignment. We can reach across the desk inside, working with our own departments to make sure that we're getting best practices coming to the table. There's ways that we can streamline the process so that folks that want to get certified don't have to go through a 100-page document to get certified. This shouldn't be rocket science. We should be able to increase our bench, and by increasing our bench, we create a competitive environment where we as a county benefit from that, and we get more small businesses involved, and thus, small business, as we all know, preaching to the choir here, is very vital to our community. They're an economic engine. When large businesses halt, they keep going. So that's the type of approach, that's the kind of thinking that we're looking at, and I appreciate the administrator for his time that he gives me and the team, because it is a collaborative approach and always seeking your direction and guidance, Board.
Thank you. Commissioner Flores.
Tammy. This executive order is being challenged at this point, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So we don't know where that's going to lie, but I feel like when Commissioner Powell asked some questions, we were tiptoeing around some of the answers. So what did the disparity study actually tell us?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Miranda.
Commissioner Flores, what we did see was some disparities. We noticed some buckets that were doing better than others, and some that still needed to move on. If I could point out, for instance, in Hispanic American subcontractors, we saw that there was an overutilization. But in some areas, we saw that there still continues to be underutilization. For instance, in the African American construction arena and services, we still saw disparity. Asian American construction and Asian American services. But at the same time, as prime, when Hispanic Americans are competing, we saw an underutilization in professional services, CCNA, and professional services, non-CCNA. So in short, it just supports what Ms. Fields is saying, that there's still work that could be done. Sure, thank you. Mr. Brown asked me to explain overutilization, and I'll lay it out as simple as I can. Let's just say that we have 10 Hispanic-owned businesses that are doing construction, and there were 15 opportunities. Well, that 15 opportunities went back to the pool of 10, so there were more opportunities than the actual pool. It doesn't mean that every person got a opportunity, because the 15 opportunities could have been won by one person. But that is an example of overutilization, where the pool was less than the number of opportunities.
Okay. So this is a study that we paid for, correct?
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay. And these are facts that you're stating, correct?
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay. So let's not tiptoe around the truth. The facts are the facts, and we should trade in that. And this is not a subject that we should shy away from. Like you mentioned earlier, we're trying to help small businesses in our county. If our small business thrive, our community thrive. So I just want to be clear about that we are talking in facts, and that we're doing the best that we can for our community and our small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Flores. I will entertain a motion to approve item 5C1.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to receive and file.
3I4.
Motion to receive and file item 3I4.
I have a first from Commissioner Powell, a second from Commissioner Sacks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Please see that motion carries 7-0. I believe we are finished with consent. Moving on to regular agenda, or excuse me, public hearings. Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to receive and file proof of publication.
I have a first from Commissioner Weiss, a second from Commissioner Flores. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, say nay. Please see that that motion carries 7-0. Moving on to 5A1, regular agenda. No, we just did that one. Did you need that 4A1 as an A and B? Proof of,
You're fine the way you did it, thank you.
no, we did proof of publication, so I would like to entertain a motion for items 4A1, A and B. I have a motion from Commissioner Flores, a second from Commissioner Sacks, and I believe we have a card on this item? No. Next, okay. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, say nay. Please see that that motion carries 7-0. Now, moving on to regular agenda, 5A1. I will entertain a motion to approve 5A1A and B.
So moved.
A first by Commissioner Marino, a second by Vice Mayor Woodward. Please, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed, say nay. Please see that that motion carries 7-0. We have a card for 5B1. If Commissioner Flores, would you like to call them forward?
You want the presentation first or the card?
We'll do the card first.
All right, so I have speaking comments from Randy Lebolo.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to thank you for your continued support for the small business. As you well know, 50% of the small business do not make it in the first 5 years. 67 don't make it to the first 10 years. And 75% do not make it in the first 15 years. It is hard as it is. When I started my business 25 years ago, it was a different environment. Today, with incredible regulations and a lot of stones in the road, it makes it very, very difficult for
Would
a
you
small
please
business
pause
to
this time?
succeed.
We'll let staff get seated.
So I want to thank you for your continued support. Without a small business program, it's practically impossible to create a new company today and survive. And I want to continue to say thank you, because without that, companies that are here to support the program won't be here today. So thank you for the new Office of Small Business. Thank you for your continued support, because this is what drives our county. We live and play here, and we support our business. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We would like a brief presentation, please.
Okay. Good morning again, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Administrator Abruzzo. Again, as mentioned earlier, we have with us Mary Waymer, our Economic Development Director, Tammy Fields, our Deputy County Administrator, Axel Miranda, our Division Director for the Office of Small Business Development, Deputy Director Carlos Serrano, and then Richard Senior County Attorney's Office. And today we will have Axel present on our new proposed ordinance for the Small Business Development Office.
Thank you, Director Brown. He's got you? Again, new guy in the block, little technical support. Again, thank you, Madam Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, County Administrator Abruzzo, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity today. I just want to start off by saying I may be the voice today, but I would not be here presenting today if not for the past 2 months. The people to the left and to the right of me did not contribute as much as they did. I'm still trying to find where the bathroom is. So today we're here to talk about the establishing a new small business development ordinance. We're going to be focusing on the new ordinance is reinforcing small business inclusion and local participation, focusing on economic impact and vendor capacity building. Something that I want to point out that we're really proud of is this last statement, moving administrative functions to PPMs for greater program agility. I think it's important to point out that the current ordinance is somewhere north of 70+ pages. The one that we're proposing and talking about today is somewhere in the area of 40 pages. just to focus on one thing, there probably was 10 pages just on how to get certified, what documents to bring in, and what technologies to do. To leave that in an ordinance when the marketplace changes and technology changes so much, a better place for something like that is in the procedures and policy manual. This is just an example. As you heard earlier today, the office is aligning within the Office of Small Business Development is aligning under Department of Housing and Economic Development. Again, clarifying certification, compliance, and participation functions, building long-term operational stability. Again, something we all feel very aligned with is the fact that I have Mr. Brown to my right, because small business development and housing and economic development really work hand in hand. One doesn't succeed without the other. So really, as I look to my far left, Director Waymar is here, who heads economic development. I have probably been in every event that I've done up until this point has been with her, and the small business enterprises and small businesses are so excited to know that we have small business loans and opportunities for them, which, as we all know, one of the struggles that small businesses go through is financial support. Next, we're streamlining good faith efforts waiver process. We're still going to focus on the fact that these small businesses need to be domiciled here in Palm Beach County. And all of this is basically to create greater fairness and access and efficiency. The last slide we'll talk about today is a couple of things that we're doing to the Small Business Development Advisory Committee. Our current committee is 15 members. Which is out of line with county standards. County standards are 9 to 11. So we are aligning, because the word here today is aligning. So we're aligning to county standards. We're recommending 11. At the end of the day, it's your discretion. But we're recommending 11. We're recommending that each one of the commissioners nominate and appoint a representative on this committee, and then leaving the other 4 at large, representing areas that we think are really important to the small businesses. For instance, construction, the biggest bucket that they go after, the incubator world, small business financing, and lastly, small business development centers. That's our recommendation. The whole thing is done to show transparency. We're even adding a component to the advisory committee where in the past, if someone didn't get certified, they would appeal it to me and stop there, or they would have to go through a very expensive process hiring a master third party, which would cost them thousands of dollars. So what we're doing here is allowing the committee to look at any individuals that don't get certified, and at a nominal cost to them of $500 across the board. But honestly speaking, as I asked staff how many people have been turned down, the list is that small. We're all here to certify businesses. We're all here to increase the bench. If someone doesn't get certified, it's usually a mutual understanding. If something's missing, so they come back again. That concludes our presentation, Madam Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Mr. Administrator, and Commissioner.
We have a few questions. Vice Mayor Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a few questions. I'm just going to start with, I'm not overly happy about getting this agenda item and having 45 pages of the ordinance in the backup. And when I asked for some help with like a add, delete, strike through, what are the changes that are being made, I then get like a 5-page strike through list that I got yesterday, trying to kind of go through and manage this, because this is a big deal. We're changing something that it's important that we do this. I agree. I like that the direction for the most part. I don't like that I haven't had time to digest 45 pages worth of an ordinance. That's not a simple strike through, or here's the things we're changing. I've gone through the list of changes that are on here, and I'm not comfortable with how this has been presented right now. And I can't speak for the rest of the board, but I mean, this is a lot. I mean, I printed it. It's 45 pages here. A lot of legalese, a lot of stuff that I need conversations to kind of work myself through, because understanding all of this is why we have you. And And some of the conversations, I wanted to make sure that we're talking about development and development versus participation in county bids. Because this board, just a short time ago, we had a lengthy discussion about having one plumber that bid on something for a project that we had. So we wanted competition, and we would like competition from our local small businesses. And our small business certification program makes sure that they are Palm Beach County businesses. So when we pay them tax dollars, it's staying in this county. It's a good program. It's a good way to do this. I don't know how much of this new ordinance is really focusing on not just getting them certified, but actually getting them to participate in bids. And how do we get them to not only participate in the bidding process, but also helping them win those bids so that when we spend taxpayer dollars, that it's circulating within the county. That's kind of, as I understand it, and I like that idea of the goal, that's what this should be. So that part, I'm gonna need some more detailed explanation on. And not just that, you know, we've had a lot of conversations about certifying businesses and how many we get and all of this. But if we're just certifying them and they're using that certification to prove how valuable they are and they're getting business in the private sector or they're getting business in other places, that doesn't really help us, the county, who are spending taxpayer dollars. And we need the competition, and I would like the competition locally. So that I would like some explanation on. And also, I've had conversations with a few chambers on this who deal a lot with our small businesses. And is there any effort, if we're going to be moving towards having a small business development office that's a county office, can we, and it's a big ask and we need to get the buy-in from it, but can we get our local municipalities or other taxing districts to maybe consolidate the efforts of certification? Because I have been told businesses, you know, as soon as they cross into another jurisdiction, it's a whole new certification process. Or if they want to do the school district or the healthcare district or any government, can we, I mean, if we're forming this new department, can we sort of take the lead and ask for some perhaps interlocal agreements or agreements with all these other agencies that do certifications to help the small businesses so they don't have to get themselves certified 10 different times? And not just in a way that says this can carry, you know, some of it, I know we have some agreements where documents can kind of move around, but certification's a big deal. And if we're going to be the lead in this, or offering to be the lead in this, I mean, could we do this in a way that helps businesses throughout the county get themselves certified to do municipal and government work? Because even if it's helping our fellow cities, it's still taxpayer money. So this is about getting our local small businesses to participate and get, you know, keep our tax dollars here. So those two things are my biggest concern. I don't love the idea of having 45 pages, and I read through, honestly, I got through about 30 pages of it and got cross-eyed. So I would need some help getting through this and making sure I fully understand what this new ordinance is. But if those two things you could address, I would like to hear that now. Oh. Administrator, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Vice Mayor, a few things. We are working very hard at administration to make some new changes for our county, and exactly to you and the board's desire and efforts. What Mr. Miranda and this team, a big part in what's in that ordinance you'll see is a lot to do with certification. I want to segment them out because we have purchasing. And what I was going to bring up later today, we are revamping the purchasing department. We have a new purchasing director coming in, which I will speak about a little later. What you will ultimately see is a three-pillar approach. You're going to see purchasing working with small business and housing and economic development. We're going to create ultimately a new portal for vendors. I want to increase our vendor pool to an all-time high. Increasing the vendor pool, it's also going to touch ISS and eventually our new Office of Technology, which will be an entire new platform for our vendors. So this is putting the cart above the horse in kind of a high-level view, but I did want to let you know on the board where we're heading. I will also be coming to the board in the near future to create a new division, which will be the Office of Cost Control and Compliance. In the cost control and compliance, we're going to be working specifically at looking at our vendors, what their bids actually entail. For example, one of the things that I asked to be pulled from the agenda today, or which we did pull, was the bathroom costs at the convention center. I want a department that drills down. Why are we paying X amount for carpet? Why are we paying X amount for a bathroom? I want to have more publicly available information on the dollars coming from your directions and how they're being spent. This is going to be a pretty big undertaking and will likely take 6 months to a year to get everything where we need it to be. We are also entertaining bids with OpenGov, which the clerk office works with, which will provide the most detailed information on our dollars flowing out, both for those contracts, from whether it's construction, consulting. It will be more publicly accessible and available to you than ever before. So we have a lot of good things coming. One of the first steps was obviously because of the new laws, but getting small business in order and being able to certify more businesses in small business. Axel, Mr. Miranda can speak to that. We actually don't have percentage-based wise a large amount of businesses certified. And don't, please bring that up. So this pillar right here is to get the offices certified. A lot what you mentioned is gonna roll onto purchasing and some of the new platforms and the way we're going to reorganize. Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I know Mr. Miranda can answer some of those latter questions, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, County Administrator. And Commissioner Woodward, the Administrator mentioned some things that are really important. You know, I think at one of the first speaking engagements that I saw the Administrator speak, which was at the Matchmaker Conference, he shared a data point that I would like to share today. There are approximately 75,000 small businesses in Palm Beach County. There is less than 1% of that are certified with Palm Beach County. Somewhere, they hover somewhere in the low 700 ranges. It gets really hard to do outreach and go to vendors when your bench is small. Thus, we have said many times, we've got to find ways to increase that bench. Increasing that bench has obstacles. I have been a small business in the past, and I've gone through a process of certifying, and sometimes it could be a lot. So if you're trying to get a vendor registration number through one department, and it's taking you weeks and weeks to get that, and then when you're finished with that, your next step is to get certified. It can be some time, and you get discouraged. You say, this is a waste of my time. I'm not going to do that. We have to change that way of thinking out there, that mentality, and we're going to do that by implementing new technology, new pathways internally, new processes, working department alongside department, and let's roll up our sleeves and figure this out and do it a better way. You mentioned chambers, Commissioner. One of the first things that I found out when I came into this position is that our office, we pay membership to a good portion of the 27 chambers that exist in Palm Beach County, yet there's no collaboration. I can't even get a meeting with some of these guys, and I've spoken to the Administrator about that, because to me, the chambers should be the ones feeding us small businesses and working collaboratively. So we also need to change that mentality, that culture out there, which goes back to a little bit of what I said during the disparity. We've got to change the way we're working. We got to collaborate. We got to reach across the table. We got to work with the community nonprofits, with the smaller businesses, and how we can improve this to increase our bench. It really comes down to increasing our bench, and I'm 100% with you, Commissioner, on the points that you made. And to the 40 pages, a lot of the parts that were taken out, as I look at our attorney, Richard Sina, at the end there, was a lot of duplication. You would have a definition for one thing that would show up 5 different times and take up a good portion of paper. So we looked at ways to streamlining it, making it a stronger foundation. The framework to launch this office, this division in the right way forward.
Follow up, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And everything you talked about, I mean, those are good plans moving forward. my concern was, are we a little ahead of ourselves here if you're bringing an ordinance to us that's, I mean, typically, like, these are big, and it requires a few meetings and some understanding. And I just wanted to make sure, I mean, are these things just duplications? I'm not comfortable, and I know that there's a few significant changes, and we had a very brief PowerPoint presentation kind of letting us know. It's about the ordinance, not what the plans for the future are. I want to know exactly what is in this that we're voting on to make permission to advertise, because at this point, what is going to come back, we don't change unless if we change them, it adds more meetings to it. But if we're going to add more meetings because we changed something when this comes back in December, I'd like to have that now. So.
Madam Vice Mayor, to address a couple of things here. One, we do have a deadline that we're facing, and we will be able to, if we can come and meet with your office and go over the details again with each of the changes between now and the public hearing. The ordinance is the legal construct for our preference programs and our certification. The alignment, as we've discussed, is more programmatic, that would not need to be necessarily included in the ordinance document itself. One example is the microloan program that you just approved on the public hearing agenda. That microloan program, in all likelihood, is going to be used mostly by some of our small businesses, because it is for those smaller businesses. So we're already starting to implement many of the changes for the development portion. And then I'd like Mr. Miranda to talk about some of the changes you've already made as far as the outreach to when we have bids. And those bids, we don't have a lot of participation, the outreach efforts. One of the things that's happening is because we are not doing the certification for all minority and women business enterprises that are, the certification process is more technical for those, and we have to meet certain legal requirements. Without having those, it is freeing up staff to be able to do some of the other functions in the development process. So if you could address some of those things.
If I could, because I know there's some other lights on. I would like to know that we're simplifying the process, and that we're making this to where, it can work more efficiently, and that businesses that want to participate can. And if those things are in this, then I'm happy to have the meeting in my office and you to go over these things, and hopefully no changes would need to be made. The only other concern that I had was the appeals process. And I know there's not a lot of businesses that get denied. But what is the change that was made in this? Because I know what's being proposed is that if there's a denial and it goes to the director, and if the director denies it, it goes back to the director. And if he still denies it, then it goes to this board that is a new board we're going to be appointing. Is that correct?
Yeah. If I may, Commissioner, I can explain that. So the advisory committee currently, the certification process currently, it's one of the specialists within the office start the process, go through it. If for some reason they don't meet all the criteria, get denied, that gets reviewed by the office manager, confirms what the specialist has done, and then it stops there for a moment. If the business looking to get certified doesn't agree with that, they appeal to me as the director. They appeal to the director of the office. That's why the director is not involved directly in the day-to-day paper gathering and everything. Then basically at that point, the director reviews the entire thing and makes a decision. If that decision is still not one that the small business is happy with, then they can solicit a special master, which is used currently when somebody disagrees whether they got a waiver or not. And it's also used for that process. It's an expensive process. I don't remember the exact number offhand, but it's a couple of $1,000s. So that is the current procedure. What we're recommending, Commissioner, is that everything stay the same until before it goes to a special master. So instead of going to a special master, we're saying that we're recommending that we give this function to the advisory committee, where they will stand up a small ad hoc committee, and they will review and see if there's merits to reverse the decision or not. That is purely what we're recommending. It gives an opportunity to show public transparency. Everything that the advisory committee does is reported on a regular basis to this board. That's what we're also recommending. And as I alluded to earlier today, Commissioner, I cannot find the list of folks that have been turned down because the primary goal is to get firms certified. And if for some reason they go through the process and it's timed and it doesn't happen by that time, it just goes back and both parties figure out a way to get that firm certified.
Vice Mayor, did you have a meeting with staff prior? No. Could we just make sure that before something?
I did have a meeting with staff. We did not discuss the ordinance.
We didn't.
Discussed a new department and tough leaf.
So we'll make sure we follow back up with you, Vice Mayor, and go through it in more detail.
Thank you, staff. I know that when we went over this, it was in great detail, so I thank you for that. And please try to make sure that we are well informed before we get here. Thank you. Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation and the work that you all are doing. Couple things. First question. In the past, if you were certified by the Solid Waste Authority, the school district, the city of West Palm Beach or Palm Beach County, those certifications transferred over. Is that still the case?
Yes, and thank you for bringing that up, Commissioner. Someone can come to the county, get their certification, and use it at solid waste. We are the certifying body for a Solid Waste Authority. They can take their certification and go to the Board of Ed as well. They can take it to Riviera Beach, and they can take it to West Palm Beach as well, which speaks to a little bit about what the Commissioner said. I think those are perfect examples, and that's an area also, Commissioner, that we'd like to work on and expand throughout the county.
What does it entail? Is it just require a memo of understanding between the bodies?
It's an interlocal.
An interlocal,
Yes.
okay, all right. And then, you were talking about, first off, condensing the document itself, which was, thank you very much. I mean, about half of it is now going to go over into policy and procedures manual, which makes a lot of sense, because then you can change it without having coming back to the board as existing in an ordinance. So that was very thoughtful. But in helping these, you did also mention you're going to be using technology to assist. But in getting certified, I would think it would be a great opportunity to use technology to assist these small businesses so that it's not as cumbersome. I mean, the tools now exist to do that, and to really simplify the application process, to be able to send reminders to people, you need this document or that document, whatever the requirement is, to be able to proactively do that rather than relying on a person. Person eventually has to review everything, mm-hmm. but can help, because a lot of times these small businesses, they're out trying to earn a living. Mm-hmm. And we're only open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. And they're out, doing business and working. So, the opportunity to be able to do something, 24/7 will create that for them to be able to better participate. And you'll probably end up getting cleaner and better data from them as well. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Flores.
So I echo Commissioner Weiss's comments. The most important part is getting these individuals certified. And the number one thing that I keep hearing is that the process is extremely hard. And I hear that your team is getting everybody certified. That's great. But there's a reason why there's not that many people submitting certification. So maybe it's taboo out there that this process is lengthy and the application is extra long. So reducing that has to be a priority to us. And the more interlocal agreements that we have, the easier it makes your job. Because if they're getting certified in Boca and we accept that, it reduces another application having to come through the system. So it might behoove us to work with the League of Cities, make sure that we have an interlocal with all the municipalities. I think that'll help feed the pipeline that we're talking about. And we can still get the information that's required while still helping all of our business owners. So to me, that's a priority, making sure that this is streamlined so that people can get certified more quickly and efficiently. Regarding Commissioner Woodward's, Vice Mayor Woodward's comments about the ordinance, and I'm not directing just this comment at you, I'm talking more about the administration, is we get the agenda Wednesday, the week before Tuesday, for these BCC meetings. Now we're having to read 50 agenda items. Just because it's on consent, it doesn't mean that we don't read and that we don't do our homework and our due diligence on that. It just means that we're going to make one vote instead of 25 votes. But it still requires us to go through the items in less than a week. It's a lot of information, and if we don't have it at least on Wednesday or Thursday, now we received the ordinance late, and essentially the ordinance is the law, which is the most important component of this whole program. Without the ordinance, we don't have a program. So not just you, administration, and I know this is new for some folks, but I know up here, while I've been up here, we've talked about receiving information late. And I know Commissioner Sachs is big on this. So we need to do better, because essentially we're approving something with limited time. So I agree with that. And I hope that we do enhance and invest in technology, because I hear that there are other districts, counties, cities that have technology that make the system better. So let's look at that. Let's enhance the program. I do like the idea of, instead of going to the master, we're going to the board where they're looking, so that reduces a little bit of cost. And then regarding your 11 personnel board, I'm also in favor of that. So thank you so much.
Commissioner Powell.
Thank you. Axel, did you say there's no list of previous companies that have appealed in the process if they've been denied? Do you have a list of, or have there?
I can get you an actual list, Commissioner Powell, but anecdotally, what I was saying, as we talked about it and looked to see what, historically, if one came before the director's chair in a year, it was a lot, but I can get you an actual number over maybe looking at 5 years, Commissioner, if you're interested in that.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Powell, if I could add to that, there are not many businesses who have appealed on the basis of being a small business. Most of those in the past had been appeals for minority or women-owned businesses, and it was really on whether or not the minority or woman was really in control of the company, because you had to do an analysis of ownership and control. And unfortunately, in the past, there had been some practices where larger companies would create a minority or women-owned business, but they're still the one that was controlling it. Those are the cases that had to go to appeals most often. With it just being small business certification, the likelihood of those appeals is not going to be major going forward.
Thank you. And Axel, can you point out, when you talk about the assistance for these small businesses, will it be a loan or a grant? How will that work?
When I alluded to that, is some of the work that we're doing within the department with Mary's division, the programs that she runs, including the one that I think is going to be presented to you guys today with the microloan program. And when I mentioned, for instance, within the advisory committee, having a representative from the financial services sector that supports small businesses, it would be that would be our part in it, having a representative on the advisory committee that brings forth that knowledge and expertise to the committee.
So it's mainly microloans or loans, and are these of course will be revolving loans, right? Are there no grants?
Again, Commissioner Powell, I would defer to my colleague to where she could talk about the different programs that are offered through the Division of Economic Development for small businesses. What we look to within the Office of Small Business Development is support that. Thus, the key word in our new name is development. So what components are missing? Is it education? Do we need to put the financial folks and them in the same room? Do we need to put the primes and them in the same room? Who do we need to connect them with? So we become the connector, where we're just not the certification hub, but we're there as these firms get certified, and we help them grow throughout the day to a success story, like we heard Mr. Lobolo speak today, where he's actually graduating from the program after 8 years of being part of it.
Commissioner Powell, would you like to make the motion? We have no more lights. It's for 5B1.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve on preliminary reading and permission to advertise for public hearing on December 2nd at 9:30 a.m.
I have a first by Commissioner Powell, a second by Commissioner Flores. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, say nay. Please say that the motion carries 7-0. Moving on to 5C1, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I'll entertain a motion to approve. I have a first by Commissioner Flores. Oh, Commissioner Sacks. Okay. Would you like a staff? No. You just want to discuss it? Go ahead.
This is my, if I may, Madam Mayor, can I speak?
Yes.
Okay. My issue is this, and I've been over this with my staff. This is money that we are receiving
Excuse me, Commissioner
on
Sacks.
DCF, which is wonderful, right? And my issue here, and this is a lot of money, and I know that it's for housing, and I want to make sure that all these different items, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, are going to be used for housing the unsheltered. That's all I need to have on the record. If that's okay with you, Dr. Green, I know we've discussed this.
Yes.
Thank you. That's it. And if there's no other discussion, I'll make the motion.
So I have a first by Commissioner Sacks. Second. A second by Commissioner Weiss. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, say nay. Please see that that motion carries 7-0. Moving on to 5D1, County Attorney. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
I have a first by Commissioner Flores, a second by Commissioner Weiss. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, say nay. Please see that that motion carries 7-0. On to board appointments. Do any of my fellow commissioners, Vice Mayor, have an appointment? You're recognized, Commissioner Marino.
Thank you. I'd like to appoint Mr. Richard Sapir to the Fair Housing Equal Employment Board.
Are there any others? We do not have on this agenda direction or comments, but would anyone like to provide direction or comments? Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. Direction I'd like to do today with board support. I'd like the county attorney's office to provide the board with legal options relative to the recently implemented year-round flight restrictions at PBI.
Second. Are there any objections to that direction?
Okay, thank you. And then also, in keeping with county policy, we recently approved an item, a contract, and typically we have those contracts available online for the public to review. In this case, this was a security contract that has been redacted. My understanding, it has been sent out to various people making inquiries for it, but in keeping with our policy, I would ask that we go ahead and have that posted as we normally do. I think it was an oversight that was made, and so I just want to correct that.
Commissioner Administrator, would you please comment?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We will make sure it is publicly available and filed with the clerk appropriately, available to all. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward, or excuse me, Vice Mayor Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to inquire, I received an email from a constituent asking about county policy in regards to e-bikes on our sidewalks. And I think I asked for engineering to be here. I don't see them. Would like to know if we could have some clarification on that, because I know state law allows us the ability to make an ordinance, and as I understand it, right now, our ordinance is that e-bikes and scooters are allowed on sidewalks, but they have to be under pedaling or pushing. They're not allowed to use the actual motorized part of it. And there's a number of our communities where the motorized part is being used. And I was hoping to get some clarification on that. I'm not asking for us to change our ordinance, but just give us the better ability to let the public know what it is, and maybe law enforcement some discussions, because it's some of these bikes get up to 25, 30 miles an hour, and if it's on a sidewalk, that's not what people are expecting. Okay. And we do allow it, but it's meant to be under pedaling or pushing with the scooter. So I saw Patrick stand up. And am I correct on what our ordinance is?
Vice Mayor, I don't have that information available, but let us put that together with law enforcement and others, kind of like what we just did with you with golf carts, a little bit more, so we'll give you a comprehensive look, and we'll get back to get working on that ASAP.
Thank you very much. And that's all my comments, other than happy Thanksgiving, everyone. So.
Commissioner Sacks.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And Vice Mayor, that's a very good question. And that leads me on to my comment that we're going to have a transportation summit this Thursday at 10 o'clock at the Civic Center, and we will address that issue, because there's so many different ways of modes of transportation that we need to bifurcate what is illegal and what isn't. And so we will be addressing that. Unfortunately, there's a little Tampa event going on at the FAC, so most of you will not be there, but don't worry. We'll have it televised, so you can all catch up on it.
Thank you, Commissioner
Okay,
Sacks.
but that is a very good issue. If I may continue, Madam Mayor?
Of course.
Okay. Something upset me last week, and I have been in government many years, and I know that government should speak to each other. City governments, county, state, federal. Part of what we all do is the same mission, and that is take care of the people. Well, something occurred on November 12th where I was alerted that the city of Boca Raton, through its mayor, approached the beautiful development of St. Andrews Country Club. St. Andrews Country Club is 800 acres, 747 parcels, golf course, pools. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's right next to where I have lived for 40 years. And they were approached to leave the county, and go on to the city. And that's okay, but let us know. Let us know, because we're a government like they are, where you all have the same mission. But I do want to say that they reached out to me. I didn't know this was happening. But the officers at St. Andrews Country Club reached out to me and said, we'd like to talk to you. It appears that it would be better for us to leave the county and go with the city of Boca Raton. So I said, no problem. So I just want to give a compliment. I didn't go myself. I brought the best of the county. I had Chief Patrick Kennedy was with us at this meeting with the officers of St. Andrews Country Club, and the chief of our fire department, Chief Kennedy, brought Chief Woodside, Chief Coyle. We had the assistant county administrator, Tom Nadler, was there. And best of all, we had our county administrator, Joseph Abruzzo, was there. And we met with them, with these folks. I had just heard of it, and no one from the city of Boca Raton ever gave a call to our administrator, to the county commissioner, or anybody in the county. And I take umbrance at that, so I hope that they hear me. And I will put on the record right now, I am not going to the Boca Mall to see if they'll leave the city and come with the county, although that's one of my favorite places to drop money. Nor will this county commissioner go to Meisner Park, which I love, to come into the county. But let's not do this again. Let us all be, let's all be good government. Let's be transparent and open and follow the protocols. In the meantime, I have sent over to our budget director the document that they prepared, and they prepared it months ago as to why it was better for the good people at St. Andrews Country Club to go with the city of Boca Raton and basically dump the county. So anybody who's listening, let's talk about good government, transparent government, and that way we can move forward together to help the people of our county. So thank you for allowing me that. And then also this Thursday, we're having a housing conference. And we're going to be talking about housing for our unsheltered. And that's why I went into this big deal about the funding that we have. And I'm looking forward to solving this issue in this county, being one of the first in the state to solve this issue. And I want to thank Tammy Fields, Jonathan Brown, Dr. Green, Taruna, all the group who is with our development. So that's it. Thank you very much, and congratulations to our new officers.
Thank you, Commissioner. Lastly, I forgot I have a board appointment. I would like to appoint Lynn Redmond to the Library Advisory Board. Did you need to say, excuse me, Commissioner Powell?
No, Commissioner Powell. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I did want to acknowledge, and I'm deeply saddened, and I wanted us to acknowledge that one of my former colleagues in the state legislature, Roy Hardiman, passed away on November 11th. And, you know, he did a good job in serving his constituents. He was no longer in the legislature, but he had served. And I did want to take a moment to acknowledge his passing. And I just want to make sure to let our board know that we can always discuss issues. And I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Marino, did you have any comments? Commissioner Sachs said her comments. Commissioner Weiss?
Yes, I would like to acknowledge this past Sunday, I was at an event with a group called the Young Men of Distinction. It was in Riviera Beach Marina. They held this gathering, and it was really about providing mentorship and guidance to young men in our community. And it was awesome and amazing to see how these young men are developing, and the mentors that are working with them. And I just wanted to share that. It was really great to see, and to see these young men looking and having the opportunity to have some additional guidance in their lives, and able to take advantage of that and have their best possible life. So,
Commissioner Flores?
Just wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Vice Mayor Woodward? No. Okay. So lastly, I would like to wish my husband a happy belated birthday of November 16th. And I would like to wish my two little boys a happy future birthday of November 24th and 27th. So happy birthday, Logan and Liam. Yes, Commissioner Woodward, or Vice Mayor Woodward.
I'm so ashamed, but thank you for that. I'm wishing my husband a happy birthday this Sunday on the 23rd. So thank you, Mayor, and I'm sorry, Michael.
With Commissioner Sachs, did you have something else to say?
Thank you for doing the birthdays. Leonardo is going to be 6 this Sunday. It's a big deal. So we're going to have a little pony and a bounce house, and y'all are welcome to come. It's great being 6. It's great being 6. Sometimes I'm 6, you know. So I want to wish Leonardo, a very happy birthday. Thank you.
Thank you. Administrator,
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First and foremost, Commissioner Powell, sorry to hear about Rep. Hardeman's passing. He was a statesman, always cool and calm. I'll remember him fondly. To Commissioner Flores and to the board, we'll be making the rounds to show you from staff side what, and I know many of you probably know what occurs to put together the agenda. In being new, the way that I see it, in order to provide it, let's say hypothetically a couple of weeks ahead of time, we're going to likely have to space out meetings, or else you're going to get an 18-item add delete. And I would like to try to avoid that, but I do want to work through it with you, each and all individually. As well, I know you can't collectively, but you're always invited, obviously one at a time, to watch what occurs. We start actually today, and we go through just preparing for the next meeting. And would love for you to see that process on the inside and how our 35 department plus, how information flows, the deadlines they're under, and the things at hand. It's quite encumbersome, and I do want to see it. Again, the way that I see it, the only way we can provide that, we do have to have probably less meetings and space them out. Or else we're going to run into some issues. But Commissioner Flores, if you would indulge me to see it, because you may have some ideas that I do not have. And being a former mayor and dealing with agendas, I defer to you quite a bit in this area. But I'll be working with our new mayor on the calendar and what we see moving forward as far as the meetings. I do need some board approvals on directors. As mentioned, we have, and I know you know this, Orion Natick, who's already been highlighted in his new role, Dr. Keith Clinscale for becoming our ombudsman and strategic director as well. And I'm proud to announce Jessica Comas will be our new purchasing director. Jessica is actually the reigning clerk leader of the year. I've been proud to work with her for nearly 5 years as clerk. She knows many, if not all, of those in our purchasing department already. I could tell you the department is excited to have her, and you still stay part of the PBC family. So I do need, Madam Mayor,
yes.
Second.
I have a first by Commissioner Flores, a second by Commissioner Sacks. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, say nay. Please see that the ratification passes 7-0.
And Madam Mayor, one more item. It's with a heavy heart. Our Chief Deputy Administrator, Todd Von Laren, will be retiring in April. Todd has given decades of service to Palm Beach County, and his leadership experience, presence have been invaluable. He knows so much of the history of Palm Beach County, how we got to today. But more so, you know, he is the founder of our legislative affairs and really our government outreach, dating back over 25 years ago. But then you think about projects like Green K. I could say for a fact, just knowing how that all came together, wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Todd, and so many more. We will properly honor him over the next couple of months. But I did want to just say that could not thank Todd enough for the 2-month period. This is just personal, Madam Mayor. In doc that I had, we were working together, and thank you, Rachel Von Laren, for allowing your husband for well over 60 days, morning, noon, and night, weekends. We visited 35 departments, did full working meetings. I will always remember that, but I will tell you that it is my preference that as he departs in April, he still finds a way to work with us here in Palm Beach County, because we can't lose Todd. It's impossible.
Excuse me, Administrator. Todd, would you please come up and say a word briefly? I said briefly, Todd.
Rachel.
That's my least favorite word, briefly. Thank you, Administrator Abruzzo and Commissioners. It has, this is both a sad and an exciting day. A lot more exciting than it is sad. But I've served for the county for almost 27 years. I'll be at 30 years at the beginning of next year with the state. And that was kind of a milestone in my mind for my career that I looked at and I thought, I accomplished a lot of amazing things that I'm super, super proud of. I've served with a lot of incredible individuals, both on this dais over the last decades, as well as on the staff side. I've had some amazing administrators, serving with my administrator and great friend Joe Abruzzo, and all of our previous administrators, Ms. Baker, Mr. Weissman, mentors that I've had like Brad Merriman, who, taught me the same things that my grandfather did, and that's, plan financially, stick with something that you love and get good at it. And because of that, I did those types of things. I worked hard, both in the legislature as well as here in the county. I planned responsibly financially because of things like the 457B program and nationwide. Because of those types of things, I'm able to do and have this announcement today and feel really good about it. I think, the one thing I've talked to a lot of you about is my family and my children. And being an older dad, but being an old dad at 54 years old and having a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, I know that my time might not be as long with them as if I were 20 or 30. And so this is really important to me to kind of reclaim my time and get my time back, to be able to spend that with them. And I've watched people like Bobby Powell and Sarah Baxter balance what you do, and you've done it very well, and so have other commissioners and others before you. But my wife Rachel and I have had a number of conversations about this. She's my rock. She's allows me to do this as much as anything, and for me to be there for her as she continues in her career, for her to be there for me as I do continue in my career. And I'm not going away completely. I'm just gaining a little bit more flexibility and gaining back that time that was so important to me and so valuable to me. And sometimes we lose sight of that when we get into our careers, that we keep going and going and going and don't realize, those really things that are important and matter. And when my kids were born, that's what mattered to me the most. So thank you. I will miss the day-to-day of this, believe it or not. I really enjoy it, and but I certainly will provide you with more news to come of, I hope to be some great things and some great opportunities, and I look forward to continuing to working with each and every one of you. I'm excited to be walking out of the door with, I still have a full head of hair and it's still its natural color. so that's exciting as well. But I couldn't thank more the team that we have in this county and the team that Administrator Abruzzo was putting together, and some great folks that I've had the chance to work with. Patrick, who's been one of my real partners in administration. Just some fabulous folks, and seeing Tammy retiring as well next year.
Todd, you have more months.
I do. So I'll leave it at that and say thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Love this county, love the people that work for it, and respect every single person who has sat up at this dais and made the tough decisions you do, and appreciate it.
In all seriousness, thank you for everything you've done for us and for filling in as interim while we were selecting a new administrator.
Thank you for your trust and confidence in that.
I'm sure we're going to have a lot more conversations, a lot more going aways.
Appreciate that.
So thank you.
Look forward to it. So thank you, Administrator.
Attorney Kaufman.
Well, I hate to burst everybody's bubble, but I just wanted to point out there is a suggestion as far as being able to get agenda items a little bit sooner without making the meetings further apart. Perhaps if staff were to meet with the commissioners while they're developing these very large contracts or these very large ordinances, because this happens for months, 4 months, 6 months. These are ongoing projects. These are not done in the space of a month or two. So there's no reason that the commissioners could not be briefed and could not be told what's going on in plenty of time so that the agenda item is not a surprise.
Thank you for that advice. Commissioner Flores.
I think my only comment is if it's on the agenda when it comes out, we have all the backup material. I think that's the simplest way to make this. If it's not, then move it to the next agenda. I think that's the simplest way. I don't want to complicate this. I'm just thinking if your department is not fully prepared, don't put it on the agenda, put it on the next agenda. I think that's simple enough.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Woodward.
Thank you, and I very much agree with what Commissioner Flores just said, but I thank you for bringing that up, Attorney Kaufman, because I know some of these are developed for months, and I believe it was a year or more ago when we were talking, I think, procurement, and it was 6 months or so before it came to us when I had my first meeting. And honestly, it took several meetings of that for me to fully wrap my brain around what we were passing. So I would agree and appreciate having those briefings on the large ordinances, because it takes us a few times to digest this. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Marino.
Thank you. I think what would be behoove all of us would be to get, and staff has been doing this long enough, really an outline of what items take the most amount of time. I know you all have a schedule, but that would be important for us to have that information. Contracts that might take a year, so you will see this on next year's an agenda next year and so on. Because I've had this discussion with Virginia for 5 years about how come we're getting our information so late when agendas are being built so far in advance. So if you could give us a schedule of how long particular items take to get on the agenda, it would behoove us, because we would then have a better idea. Thank you.
Commissioner Sacks.
Let me just wrap it up and say I agree with everybody. We all do need more time to review this. But one thing I want to make particular note, 60 pages of consent doesn't make any sense. So we have some contracts and agreements that are on consent, and then you flip the page over and we're on regular agenda. Another one is on regular agenda. So I know Yvonne Walmsley works very hard on this, but if we could take a look at that and put things on consent that are consent, and put things on regular agenda. I think we spend a lot of time pulling things from consent. So if we have those important documents, important contracts, I think it would be very good. So I agree with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. With that, we are going to adjourn, and please do not leave because we are going to take our photo. No, we are going to do it down here, right here. Thank you.